Good evening. I wish to call the Lee County Board of Commissioners to order on this Monday, 24th of July, 2023. If I could ask for you to please stand for, well, just a reminder, cell phones, if it goes off, we'll stop and let you answer it. Please stand for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. The following is an excerpt from the prayer by Reverend J. McJilton given on the 4th of July of 1848 in consecration of the Washington Monument. Direct us, O Lord, in all our doings with the most gracious favor, and further us with thy continued help. While we acknowledge thee to be the Lord our God and offer thee the services of our lips, may our hearts be devoted to thee, that we may bring forth the fruits of holiness in our lives and show by our deed that we are thy faithful servants. Be pleased to perpetuate our free government and continue its blessings to mankind. In your most holy and gracious name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just to update the consent agenda, we're going to add item 2V, as in Victor, the forestry services contract that came in today. And we're going to pull from new business the sports complex road names, section 6B under new business. We will not hear that this evening.
And Mr. Chair, could you tell me why we're pulling that?
Yeah, there's a couple of discrepancies. We have one too many letters, and there are a couple of those road names that already exist in the county.
Okay, thanks.
So you all have to cut down the number of letters and get with Don Kovacic regarding that.
Okay.
Well, thank you for the question.
Mm-hmm.
Any other changes to the agenda? Seeing none, can I have an approval for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion for the consent agenda has been made. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And then I'll need approval for the agenda.
Mr. Chair, yeah, go ahead.
Motion to approve the agenda was made. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We now have a public hearing scheduled. And before I go, I want to discuss or read the conflict of interest pursuant to 160D 109, in which, if any of you need to ask for recusal, quote, a governing body board member shall not vote on a legislative decision regarding a development regulation adopted pursuant to this chapter where the outcome is reasonably likely to have a direct, substantial, and readily identifiable financial impact on the member. A governing board member shall not vote on any zoning amendment if the landowner of the property, subject to a rezoning petition, or the applicant for a text amendment is a person of whom the member has a close familial, business, or other associational relationship, unquote. Is there anyone on this board of Board of Commissioners that have a conflict of interest? No. Seeing that there are none, we will continue. Refresh my screen. And Ms. Amy McNeil, you are on.
Good evening, Commissioners, Planning Board, and staff. This information is on pages 400 through 499 of your agenda packet, and I have placed at your seats a copy of the PowerPoint presentation. It appears that some of the graphics didn't transfer over to PowerPoint, so you have more graphics on your 11 by 17 handouts illustrating the subject property than appear above you on the screen. Planning staff has received a rezoning application as the first step in possibly developing 8.95 acres off of Airport Road in a light industrial manner. This is a standard general use rezoning request as opposed to a conditional rezoning request. Therefore, no site plan nor subdivision plans nor building plans are required as part of this rezoning request. Airport Road is off of Tramway Road between Fire Tower and Brookhaven Drive. The roadway terminates at the former Lee County Regional Airport, which is now the CCCC Emergency Services Training Center. The rezoning site is on the left or the east side of Airport Road, approximately 27 feet from the intersection. The existing zoning is the Sanford Soccer Field Complex Conditional Zoning District, which is a site plan-specific conditional zoning district approved in 2016 to accommodate a proposed soccer complex. The approved ordinance for the soccer complex is included within your agenda package, but unfortunately that is not developed to date. Therefore, the property is currently for sale, hence the request to rezone to light industrial. Your staff report also includes a site plan of the soccer complex that was proposed on the site for your reference. The proposed zoning is light industrial, and this is established to provide for areas that contain a mix of light manufacturing uses, office park, and limited retail and service uses that service the industrial uses in an attractive business park setting with proper screening and buffering, all compatible with adjoining uses. Examples of uses permitted by right in the light industrial zoning district include computer and software sales, landscape supply and garden sales, motor vehicle repair and service, office buildings, manufacturing uses, and warehousing. And there's a list of all of the permitted uses in the light industrial zoning district included within the agenda packet for your reference. Adjacent zoning and land uses. To the north is a vacant strip of land on the same parcel zoned Sanford Soccer Field Complex Conditional Zoning District, and there are houses along Tramway Road that are zoned residential mixed R12. To the south is Cushman Tree Service at 2925 Airport Road, which is also zoned light industrial. To the east is vacant land to the rear of the houses that front Tramway Road that is zoned residential agricultural. And to the west is the CCCC Emergency Services Training Center, zoned light industrial. The Plan San Lee, our adopted long-range land use plan, identifies the property as professional and institutional campus, which accommodates large-scale professional uses located at critical nodes or activity centers along major roadways where development is organized in a campus-style design and is well integrated into surrounding development patterns. Per GIS, the subject property is not located within a local overlay district, which means it's not in a watershed and not in a floodplain. And regarding utilities, the site has access to public water, but no public sewer, so the future development of the property would need to be served by an individual private septic system. Airport Road is an NCDOT-maintained public roadway to just inside where this property line hits Airport Road, and there's a sign there indicating where maintenance ends. If rezoned, all of the uses permitted in the light industrial zoning district would be allowed, subject to the development standards of the UDO, such as required parking and landscaping. Staff recommendation. The subject property long-range plan designation is professional and institutional campus, and the adjoining property is zoned light industrial. Therefore, it may be a reasonable expectation that the property would be used for light industrial purposes. However, it is ultimately up to the county commissioners to determine how the county should grow and if they're comfortable with the proposed development of the site in the manner proposed. Additional information presented at the public hearing should also be considered in the recommendation and the final decision regarding this rezoning request. This concludes my staff report, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions for Amy? Commissioner Carver.
I'm not sure I understand exactly the relationship between what we're doing tonight and the ETJ. What has to happen there?
So the 8.95 acres requested to be rezoning this evening is in the county's jurisdiction only. It is not in the City of Sanford's ETJ. The applicant is proposing just to leave the portion that's in the ETJ as is and not develop the site. So by default, it would become a buffer between them and the adjoining residential neighbors to the north.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lovick.
Depending on the rezoning and what light industrial goes in, would it affect, any way for DOT to have to come and look at that intersection or?
Sure. It's possible, depending on what the applicant proposes to put there. If the subject property is rezoned, they go through, have their site plan reviewed by the Technical Review Committee, of which NCDOT is a part, and they determine whether or not a driveway permit is warranted, which it will be. And then based on the use and the amount of traffic it generates, they determine whether or not off-site improvements are warranted.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Commissioner Reeves. Commissioner Sharp.
Ms. McNeil, didn't they try to do this some other time in the past, this soccer situation?
Yes, sir. The soccer complex, the site was rezoned to allow a soccer complex in 2016, and that went through several neighborhood meetings, and there was a lot of discussion and a lot of plans reviewed by the boards, and it was approved. However, it did not develop as a soccer complex, and that's the only thing that could be put there now with the conditional zoning district. And since it hasn't developed, the property owner would like to has put it for sale, and the interested person would like to rezone it to light industrial.
Any questions? Any further questions, Commissioner Sharp?
I think the issue came with that is that I think the city wanted to have a turning lane to go in there, if I remember correctly, and they didn't have the money to do the turning lane in phase one. We didn't require it, but I think the city did. And so they just scrapped it because it was just too much for them to put the turning lane in.
I remember something about it. I was just wondering why it didn't happen.
I think that's why it didn't happen, if I recall. Too expensive. I'm sorry? Yeah, it was too expensive at first because they didn't know if it was going to take off or not. Yeah.
Commissioner Connect, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay. No questions from me and anyone else? So is it time to open the public hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will go ahead and open the public hearing regarding the request for approval for the rezoning of the proposed item. Public hearing is now open. What I would do is I have a list of names here. I will call you for you to come to the podium. Please explain to us your name and your address, and then express if you're for or against. First individual is Mona Joshi?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, so my wife and me here, we have kids, so I can ask her to.
Okay, so I got both of you. You're iCash?
Mona and Akash, yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Please state your name and your address, and then tell us if you're for or against and why.
Sure. Akash Joshi, that's my full name. Address is 833 Cloud Royal Drive, and we live in Apex, North Carolina. We are the interested party who are requesting this board member. Requesting is to be a light industrial, and as mentioned that for us as a small business we are developing here, we would like to be here for all the neighbors, and I would say for all the county members. We have one of our products that what we would like to be as a warehouse or flex we can be used for, and it can be distributed here, and it can be helpful because myself is I have a master's in electrical engineering. I'm working as a project manager. I understand how right now manufacturing is hurting us as an entire United States, and because I've been there in 20 years, I would like to bring the product back in US. And one of the reasons that we are doing the distribution here, that wastewater and water management system. Give me 1 second. This is our product that I can probably would like you guys to look into it. If anyone has interest, I can provide more detail. But that's one of the reasons that we'd like to convert into light industrial. Without that, we cannot do even warehouse or any flex. And that's one of the reasons. Sports, we can, obviously, it's very good to have, but what we can do is we can develop with the county, we can develop with the high school and the county we can have a STEM program. They can learn, because my background is in engineering, I can understand how valuable for any high school kids to come and do in R&D. They learn when they step in and understand during their education time that what actually happens. When the signal comes into gauges, how it's going to react, and how you can stop the catastrophe, any issue down the road. So this is all the learning step for any engineering student or any student would like to learn, and that's what we like to propose, and that's our stand.
Well, you've picked a good location because Southern Lee has an engineering program, Southern Lee High School.
Right. So we can support them. That's what it is. Yep. And we can definitely we can help them in terms of that. Yes, 6 months or during their entire year, we can have kids to come in and understand that, okay, what actually happened in their section in the lead wastewater, in the energy industry, and in gauges, and how it actually works, how it actually helps in the real life situation, real life training for them.
We need to get you in contact with the superintendent.
Yeah, definitely, we'll try. I'm trying right now, definitely, to work each individual. So Apex, as a small business, we work with the Apex town as a small business development 1-year program. We went with them. Obviously, given a case, everything is so high. This is probably, for us as a small business, developing is the right place, right time, because I believe 421 is going to be, our Wilmington is developing a lot. Eventually, we're going to have that growth coming here, and that's what I would like to have that, flex or warehousing right now here.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, anyone has any question, concern?
Any questions? I guess start with Commissioner Sharp.
No, thank you.
Commissioner Reeves? No, sir. Commissioner Connect?
Thank you.
Commissioner? Okay. Please get with me after, if you can give me your card.
Sure, definitely.
And I will get it to the Board of Education chair as well as the superintendent.
Definitely. Yeah.
What I hear you saying is that you would like to provide an internship or
exactly.
a training program for our high school students.
Exactly, yes.
That would be ideal.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, my vice chair said, give it to the clerk so you don't have to stay all night.
Okay, definitely. Yeah, I'll do that.
Marguerite Green.
Marguerite Green. I am a commercial real estate agent with Century 21. My office address is 407 North Judd Parkway Northeast in Fuquay Marina. And I am definitely for this project. Besides the idea of being able to help bring manufacturing back into the state of North Carolina, even though there's no manufacturing that would be done on this site would be where they're actually doing more research and development and the engineering part of the gauges, not necessarily manufacturing and distributing. That wouldn't be happening there. But the idea that they're willing to do this community outreach, in addition to that, to help further the STEM programs, in our state and get our young kids interested in engineering early, is also one of the reasons why I'm so for this as well. And then the additional building that they'll have there will also help with a lot of the tradespeople that work, and live here, where they might need an office in the front and some warehouse space in the back. So those are the reasons why I think this would be a really great business park for the town of Sanford. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Questions for the realtor? Okay, normally public hearings, we just hear what you got to say, and for the benefit of the board as well. Mr. Robert Green? Are you related? Oh, okay. Is he for or against? John Adcock.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. My name is John Adcock. I'm with the Adcock Law Firm at 202 East Academy Street in Fuquay Varina. I'm a commercial real estate attorney and land use attorney. I'm assisting the applicant with his rezoning and his purchase of the property. their purchase of the property. I'm for it. For my client, I just want to give a little more background on what his company does. Sarva USA, which is the applicant, is a North Carolina limited liability company located based out of Apex currently. The company designs and distributes industrial instruments, which one you were able to see a few minutes ago. These instruments include pressure, temperature gauges, switches, valves, sensors, solar panels, and other similar products. And another component of the business is they provide engineering services. This is a research and development enterprise. Regarding the zoning itself, the subject property is one parcel of an area designated professional and institutional campus by Plan San Lee. The total area of land designated professional and institutional campus for which this property is part of is approximately 205 acres. In accordance with strategic objectives of the San Lee Plan, specifically number 9 and 10, this rezoning will preserve and protect lands designated for economic development in Lee County and will produce employment and allow for employment-generating activities. Plan San Lee identifies light industrial, this zoning classification being requested, as a primary zoning district that is currently compatible with the professional institutional campus land use designation. And Plan San Lee specifically identifies corporate headquarters and research and development facilities as uses compatible with the professional and institutional campus land use classification. For these reasons, the applicant believes that this requested rezoning is consistent with the land use plan. The property is contiguous to over 100 acres of property that is zoned light industrial. That is to the south and west of the subject property. This includes the Central Carolina Community College Emergency Services Training Center and property currently used by Cushman Tree Service. The eastern boundary of the property is the Seaboard Coastline Railroad right-of-way. This is a 200-foot wide right-of-way that runs along the entire eastern boundary of the property. The railroad right-of-way serves as a 200-foot wide buffer between the property and property zone residential agricultural that lies to the east of the railroad. Under the LDO, it appears that development of the property into a light industrial use will require Type D buffers, which, based on my review of the UDO, has the most stringent buffer requirements in the UDO. And also, as stated earlier, there is a small portion of the property that's not subject to this rezoning that will, I'm assuming, remain with the soccer complex designation, and that also will add an additional buffer to residences along that property line. This rezoning offers an excellent opportunity to transform a vacant and unproductive property into a facility that will offer employment opportunities to the residents of Lee County and to add to the county's tax base, and including, hopefully, the Southern Lee High School Engineering Department have an opportunity to work with my client. The applicant requests the Planning Board issue a recommendation to approve this rezoning. We thank you for this opportunity. I'm glad to answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. Adcock? Commissioner Sharp?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Reeves? Commissioner Connect?
Thank you.
Commissioner?
Thank you.
Commissioner Carver? Okay, thank you, sir. And the last one on the list is our one and only Steve Malloy. Evening, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Steve Malloy. Live at 2615 Bel Air Drive here in Sanford, and I represent Adcock Real Estate Services. And it is the first time ever I've followed a Mr. Adcock who is not Albert. So I do represent, I'm the listing agent on the property and represent the landowners. And Commissioner Reeves, Commissioner Connect were the only ones here in 2016. And I still think it was yesterday when that all went on. Oh, were you? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was too.
But anyway.
Commissioner Sharp was too.
Oh, were you? I'm sorry. We all had to go through that. Anyway, the family would like to get this property sold, and we all think it's a great option. There's light industrial zoning already around it. And I've been telling people for at least 15 years that Sanford needs small flex space units, and finally someone's coming to do it. And I think it will that'll be high demand in this area. A lot of people, a lot of small businesses need that. The only thing lastly, I would like to add from a personal standpoint is if this doesn't go through, I'll have to go back to marketing as a soccer complex. And please, please, please don't make me do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, any questions?
Any questions from Mr. Malloy? No questions, sir. Thank you. Anyone else for or against? The public hearing is still open. Please state your name, sir, and your address. Maybe your new address.
That's right. I'm Bob Joyce. My address is 313 Westport Place in Sanford, and I'm here as a representative of the Sanford Area Growth Alliance. We've had the pleasure of meeting with Mr. Joshi on a couple of occasions and talked to him about his small business opportunity here. As Mr. Malloy said, a great opportunity for us to add some small flex space, which we desperately need here. And we believe this is a great location adjoining Central Carolina Community College and in an area of the county that's convenient. So we think this will be a great location for multiple small businesses in addition to his small business. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Joyce? Thank you, sir. Anyone else for or against? Going once, going twice. The public hearing is now closed. We will excuse the planning board. Thank you very much for your service to the community. We appreciate your efforts. And if those of you wish to follow the planning board, they will be meeting in the other room. There are no public comments listed. Everyone was on the wrong sheet, so we got them squared away. Under old business, a request for approval of utility easement purchase for the new library sewer connection. Ms. Gamble.
All right, good evening. Before you, we have a request for to proceed with a purchase agreement for a utility easement for outside sewer connection for the new library. We looked at two different options for sewer connection. One was through the O.T. Sloan Boys and Girls Club area where there's a manhole, and the other option was through the Old Tony Seafood location, 1919 South Horner Boulevard. We found that the one through the Old Tony Seafood location was less expensive because it was shorter in distance and cooperated as far as slope goes. So we worked with Telix, which is a company that does right-of-way and utility easement valuation and acquisition services, to determine what reasonable value that easement would be and proceed with negotiations with the property owner. This property is currently for sale, and so we were working through an agent to be able to reach an agreement. The proposed value that we reached was $40,000, which was in the realm of reasonable value for the utility easement. And on the agenda, we have a draft of the purchase agreement, the utility easement, and a hand-drawn diagram of the easement. We're just completing the utility easement survey. Jeremy Thomas is working with the City of Sanford to get the final layout designed, and we'll have that exhibit to go with the easement document shortly. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Jennifer? Commissioner Sharp?
None, thank you.
Commissioner Reeves? No. Commissioner Connect?
Thank you.
Commissioner Lovick?
No question.
Commissioner Carver?
Okay, I would just request that the board take action to go ahead and proceed with the purchase agreement and authorize the chairman to sign.
So moved.
Motion's been made to approve the purchase of utility easement for outside sewer connection to the new library in the amount of $40,000 and authorize the chairman to sign the associated purchase agreement. Motion's been made. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next item on the agenda under new business is the tax collector's annual settlement. Mr. Brown.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. Tonight we come before you with the tax collector's annual settlement. I'd first like to say that thanks goes out to staff because of good listings, good appraisal work, and hard work on collections. We were able to obtain a 99.19% collection rate. That's the same collection rate as last year, and it would not be possible without staff. So all efforts and such go to staff for their work. Tonight we come before you. We recommend acceptance and approval by the board for the accept the settlement, adopt the resolution, and charge the tax collector with collecting the 2023 taxes. So each year the tax collector must make a settlement with the governing board per statute 105-373. This year we obtained a collection rate of 99.19%. As part of the settlement, the governing board charges the tax collector with the collecting the taxes for the current fiscal year. This would be fiscal year 2024 in this instance, and prior fiscal years with unpaid taxes. So this charge gives the tax collector the authority to use enforced collection measures, and it gives legal notice that the tax lien is the first in priority. A report of the 2022 unpaid real and personal property is available in the clerk's office is available at the clerk's office and has been posted to the Lee County website for review. I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from Mr. Brown? Start with you, Commissioner Carver.
No question.
Commissioner Lovett. No question. Commissioner Connect. Commissioner Reeves.
I'd like to offer you my thanks for you and your staff, and also a motion to accept the settlement, adopt the resolution, and charge the tax collector.
All three items are on the motion. We'll move forward. Commissioner
Yeah, just good,
Sharp.
Good job.
Thank you. Like I say, it goes to staff.
Yeah.
And we appreciate the percentage, and we'd like to see 100%, but we understand. Okay, so the motion's been moved to request acceptance and approval of the settlement, adopt the resolution, and charge the tax collector with collecting the 2023 taxes. Any further discussion? Seeing there are none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Brown.
I do have a question. I'm sorry. I didn't have a question on these things.
Yes.
Now, we do have an outside agency that does do our appraisals for us, correct?
Well, we do the residential,
Right.
vacant, residential improved. We have an outside agency who does the appraisal of our commercial properties, but we look at those and try to review those.
Okay. What I'd like to know, and you probably don't have the information ahead of time, but what I'd like to know is what the appraisals were and what the appraisals were amended percentage.
Okay.
What they came up with when it came to commercial.
Are you speaking of with the informal and formal review?
That's right. So if they came out with a solid number and then it ended up being a different number after the reviews, right?
Yes.
And so the other question is that kind of concurrent with the rest of the state or the region around us in terms of percentage they were off?
I don't think counties track that typically, because counties try to arrive at market value for individual properties, and they try to do that work from the appeals that are before them. So I mean, I've been working with this a long time. I'm not really sure that many counties track percentage changes, and
the reason why
I can tell you the number of appeals and things of that nature. Our level of appeal for informal appeals was almost identical to the market of 2019. And I want to say that was around 1,200 appeals, if I'm not mistaken. And so even with, we had a 6% increase in the market in 2019, around 1,200 appeals, if I'm not mistaken. I can verify that number for you. And then with almost a 50% increase in value, we almost the same level of informal appeals. Now, we had appeals to the Board of Equalization and Review, and we have those that have occurred. But I think we have about 6 appeals that have gone to the Property Tax Commission. So we haven't resolved those at this time, but I'm sure before the end of the year, the Property Tax Commission will be contacting us about trying to schedule those appeals before the North Carolina Property Tax Commission.
Right, so the reason why I ask is, people ask me questions and I can give them a better answer of, hey, I want to appeal, what are my percent? Hey, this is the percentage that are usually dead on. They're maybe 10% off overall. Is it worth you going to appeal? Things of this nature. So
it's a case-by-case situation.
I know it is, but this is a generality, right? If you can find that out for me, I appreciate it. It's a simple thing. If you can find that out for me. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'll put some information together.
Otherwise, great job.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is permission for the Lee County Libraries to allow alcohol sales during the PopCon event on August 19th of 2023. And Beth is not here, so. Got it. One, the name was too long, and we had already streets with those names in the county. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners and Administration. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm here to present our yearly request for to allow alcohol vendor sales during our PopCon event. Our annual Lee County Library PopCon will be held at the main library on Saturday, August 19th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. As in previous years, we have 2 vendors, Starlight Mead and James Creek Cider House. They're wishing to sell sealed bottles of the mead and cider and allow a half-ounce sampling of those items to their potential buyers in the designated sale area. This area is located directly in front of their tables beneath their tents. And if you've been to the library, they are going to be together in the 2 handicapped spots that are right near the entrance. So it is a high visibility, high traffic area.
Did you guys have any problems with the sales last year?
What's that?
Did you have any problems with the sales last year? Any issues?
No, and they know to tell the customers it stays sealed until they're off property and away.
Thank you.
In creating PopCon, we search for exhibits which will promote the themes of the event and reinforce our message that libraries are more than just books. We are a place for experiences, entertainment, and enrichment for all ages. As such, we select vendors, artists, crafters, and performers who have a desire to share and cultivate a variety of interests within our community. Becky and Ben Starr of Starlight Mead, they offer tours of their meadery and introductory classes on how to make your own honey mead, which includes an in-depth exploration of the multitude of mead varieties. Anne Marie and David of James Creek offer similar opportunities at their cider house and farm, where you can learn all about their orchards, the cider making process, and flavor infusion. When it comes to mead and cider, the process of making it is just as important as the enjoyment. In addition, Starlight Mead has been instrumental in helping us pull together several local artists and vendors over the last 4 years who match our themes of a Renaissance fair mixed with a Comic-Con. The responsible inclusion of their retail sales table, along with other sellers of similar and related products, allows us to create a definitive theme for our event and promote local businesses. PopCon continues to grow. We are up to over 40 vendors, artists, authors, as well as 9 exciting and entertaining performers. We've added a food tent for visitors to sit and enjoy their lunches from the choice of 5 food trucks that are coming. And this year we have permission from the First Presbyterian Church to utilize their entire upper parking area for event space and allow the full use of their lower lot for parking. We've also received a generous grant from the Tourism Authority to fund marketing and advertising of the PopCon. As such, tonight's request is not solely focused on allowing the sale of alcohol, but on highlighting purposeful community connections. Our objective with this is to maintain a family-friendly environment that embraces appreciation for new experiences without overindulgence. The library continues to be dedicated to being the place for all to create, connect, and discover. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I will answer any questions you may have.
Commission, any questions for Christopher? Start with you, Commissioner Carver.
I understand that it's that nobody will be consuming alcoholic beverages except for tasting, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how do you make that known to the clientele that are buying it?
The vendor, we rely on the vendors to make them aware.
But they're aware that that's what we want to do, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's all. That's the only question I have.
Commissioner Levick?
No question.
Commissioner Connect?
Move to approve.
Motion been made to approve the request from Lee County Libraries to allow the sale of alcohol at the PopCon event. Continuing on, questions, Commissioner Reeves?
Is that posted, or you just rely on the vendor?
We can ask the vendors to post it this year if that would appease the commissioners.
You say you can?
Yes, sir.
Oh, they should be.
Yes.
I do believe it has been posted in the past on there. They have some informational signs on their table, and it says the tasting only there in their booth. But we'll make sure that they have it again this year.
Okay.
Commissioner Sharp?
Did I hear you say the church was going to allow to set up on their property?
Not the alcohol.
Okay, that's what.
No,
Things are changing. I didn't know.
No, yeah, these two booths specifically will be in the library parking lot, in the two handicap spaces that are right near the entry walkway. No, the church parking lot will actually mostly be the food trucks.
Thank
you. Okay, the motion been made to consider the request for the Lee County Libraries to allow the sale of alcohol at the PopCon event and ensuring that the vendors have signs displaying where the tasting is allowed. And of course, they check and make sure everyone's 21 or above, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Can I get a show of hands, please, on the ayes? And those opposed, please. Did you get that, Madam Clerk? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the amended Animal Services Ordinance, and I believe this is yours, Whitney.
As the board is aware, as of July 12th, the Department of Social Services and the Health Department is now the Consolidated Human Services Board Agency, excuse me. As part of that, in reviewing the Board of Health ordinances, we noticed that there was 2 references to the Board of Health in the ordinances, so we needed to make those changes now to the Consolidated Health Human Services Board, and that deals with appeal of dangerous animals. We are asking, this has been reviewed and approved by the new Consolidated Human Services Board. We are considering this the first reading of the ordinance, asking the commissioners to approve the first reading of the amended changes, and then we can put this back on the board for approval in August. The statutes do not require a public hearing on this ordinance change. If the board wants us to hold a public hearing, we can do that in August. But given the nature of this change being so insignificant compared to previous years, we didn't see that that was necessary for this change.
Any questions of Whitney? Commissioner Sharp?
No.
Commissioner Reeves?
Move to approve.
Motion's been made to approve the first reading. Commissioner Connect? Commissioner Lovick?
Do we contract with the city to be the animal control for the city?
Yes, the city pays us. I don't know what that, they don't pay us that amount.
Yeah,
but-
not worried about that.
Sorry, but yes, we do enforcement in the.
So are their ordinances different in the counties?
I think they have adopted the county's ordinances, so
Okay.
after we adopt
So
this,
they
we
don't
can
have to
notify.
work which rules? Okay, I'm good with that.
And
Okay.
we'll just notify them that the change has been made.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Carver?
No question.
All right, the motion's been made to approve the first reading of the amended Animal Services Ordinance and placing it on for the second reading in August. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Moving on, managers report, monthly financial reports. Mrs. Eisman is coming up.
Good evening. The preliminary financial report for June 2023 was attached to your agenda for review. There will be additional revenues and expenditures related to fiscal 23 booked between now and mid-August. At this time, we are at 103% of our ad valorem budget, and no departments are over their budgets. The April 2023 sales tax revenue report was also attached. As a reminder, sales tax revenue reporting does run 3 months behind. We are 8% above revenues for the same period last fiscal year. Thank you.
Any questions for Candace? Commissioner Sharp? Commissioner Reeves?
That's good.
Commissioner Connect?
Thank you.
Commissioner Lovick? Commissioner Carver? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the county manager's monthly report.
In your package, you have the update from various projects that I'll go over. As far as the Moore Training Facility, after TerraQuest came and made their presentation at the last meeting, the skimmers that were presented to you have been ordered, and they should be in roughly 6 weeks. So they're hoping to get those installed the second week in September. On the multi-sports complex, we are happy to say our bids are out to our pre-qualified vendors, our contractors, and those are due back August 29th. So we are moving ahead with that project. We're also moving ahead to start the different phases for the financing of that project. The limited obligation bonds and the general obligation bonds have been scheduled, and we are working with Davenport to get ready for our rating agency presentations. Otherwise, you can see the other items we're doing with DOT in that report. Horton Pool, I believe Jennifer can maybe provide us a little bit more up-to-date information on Horton Pool since what's in here.
I still don't have an exact opening date. However, I think we're making progress. Staff went ahead and moved forward with cleaning the pool up last week so we can conduct a follow-up leak investigation to determine if there's any additional leaks. The contractor did say that they had detected a leak and had made a patch, but noticing the drop in the pool levels, we want to do a follow-up investigation to ensure that that has occurred before we close out this project. We're also going to do an impedance test to verify that all the electrical connections have been hooked up properly. But if you were to go by there, the pool's clear. And you know, it's looking good. So we're hoping that we might be able to open it up in August to at least have some enjoyment for the community before, you know, we close it for the fall. But, you know, first and foremost, I think it's important that we make sure we get this right and we hold the contractor responsible for doing a good job before we close out this project. So if we get to a point where, you know, the schedule changes, we'll certainly let you know. But right now, that's our priority.
As far as Temple Park, the playground equipment was delivered at the end of June. We are waiting for the contractor to get here to do the installation. The shelter restroom was scheduled to arrive at the end of last week, and so we're waiting for that to get put in place, and Duke Energy will then come out and do the connections for electrical. We will need to bid out the sewer and water connections. The library is moving ahead with its design development phase and hopes to have us the 85% drawings laid this month. And as you know, we approved the sewer connection easement tonight. Historic Courthouse, we continue to work with our designer to move ahead, and with the Historic Preservation Group out of the state to move ahead with our options there. They have completed the parking rehab at the EMS Center. One item that's not in here that I do want to bring to your attention, earlier this year we had talked about using some of our revenue loss money from the ARPA funds to renovate the boardroom, the old boardroom, as a training room. It has been brought to our attention that it might be a better use because we need additional space for the additional workers needed for the Medicaid expansion. That instead of making that a training room, that we should probably turn that into office space. So I am working with Angelina and Takesha on the possibility of changing that. So just to give you an update, we may be coming to you and asking you to approve that switch. And at the next meeting. So as you can see there, you have various reports attached in your package, and then we have our regular commissioners meeting on August 21st, and then we have the annual conference for the NCACC, August 24th through 26th in Wake County, and then you see the rest of your schedule. I also like to say thank you for approving the tuition reimbursement policy tonight. I think several of our employees are already asking about it and they're interested in it, so I think that's another very positive item that you've done for the employees this year. So thank you on their behalf.
Questions for the manager? Commissioner Sharp?
No.
Commissioner Reeves?
Good work.
Thank you.
Commissioner Connect?
Did we find anything about what we need to do in order to get naming rights for those streets?
We are looking into it. I have gotten some information from the town of Fuquay, Verena, and I have not had a chance to delve into it yet, and I will have some information out to you though.
Commissioner Lovick? Commissioner Carver?
None.
Okay, I appreciate it. Before we go into closed session, we can...
Commissioner, Chairman, I forgot one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to introduce Ryan Drone, who is the Deputy Director for General Services. It was brought to my attention by a commissioner that I had not properly introduced Mr. Drone, so I would like to take Mr. Falk. I'm sorry. Lord, I have relapsed in my old days back to IT. Sorry, Ryan. I cannot believe I did that. I apologize. Ryan Falk, who is our Deputy Director for General Services and is taking care of that department for us right now.
Good evening, Commissioners. Good to be here before you tonight. You may remember for the last 10 years I served as Director of Soil and Water Conservation and then joined General Services back in January. So I look forward to helping you guys out, and if you would like my contact information, I will provide that for you, preferably off camera.
Yeah, please.
So thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Good seeing you again. All right, going on to Commissioner comments before we go into closed session. We'll start with Commissioner Sharp.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're still getting that $1,000 a day for Horton Pool, right?
We are continuing to calculate liquidated damages, that's correct.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. We're continuing to calculate liquidated damages along with any other expenses that we need to incur to make sure this gets taken care of correctly. That should have been the contractor's responsibility.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Reeves.
I'm just sad that Lee County and the city of Sanford has had another unfortunate teenage death. 2 lives will be ruined in the flick of an eye or the pull of a trigger. That's sad. Thank you.
Commissioner Connect.
Just make sure you check on your elderly neighbors. It's going to get hot this coming week. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Commissioner Lovick.
No comments tonight. Thank you.
Commissioner Carver.
Yeah, I just want to mention I just came back from Africa after being over there for 3 weeks. And I left with the impression that we are so blessed here in Lee County. To spend time in a third world country is humbling sometimes. At the same time, I would suggest that the people that we have the privilege of dealing with have a very positive outlook. They continue to look for employment, but it's opportunity that's the biggest problem. They suffer from economic development, shall we say. But anyway, it was a sobering experience, and again, I'm so thankful for the kind of support that we have in this county. It's excellent. I have a personal request. I have a certain problem with my hearing, and if you all would speak into the mic, it would help me a lot. There's a big difference between me doing what I'm doing here. It's very easy for me to understand, but when you sit back like this, it's hard. So appreciate you doing that for me. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Before we get started, Bob Joyce, if I could put you on the spot, and would you come forward with Mr. Tucker, please, and introduce him? I don't think he's formally been introduced to the board. I saw the two of you back there. I suspect we're going to be in closed session together.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I am pleased to formally introduce you to Todd Tucker. Although he's been here just now 3 weeks, we knew each other some, but we are old friends now, new old friends, and he has fallen right into the routine at Saga and has shouldered more than a person who's only been here 3 weeks should shoulder. He's done an amazing job, and we're so pleased to add him to the team.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I appreciate the opportunity. Yes, I wish I'd had the opportunity to meet you before I'd come to you in closed session, but the good news is we have good news to come to you in closed session with. So we look forward to coming to you often and regular with this type of work. And if I can be of assistance to any one of you, please feel free to give me a call at any time. Look forward to talking to you later. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Tucker, for your information, I did tell Jimmy that if you have something 5 minutes before the meeting, we'll put it on closed session.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to, I have a few points to make or a few points to iterate. Did have a long conversation this afternoon with former Chairman Charlie Parks, and the water main break had him very concerned because the information they did not receive came through the grapevine, so to say, and so we need to have the city water department to work on a program of getting the information out there so everybody knows it. And of course, he said he doesn't get the radio station in that little gully he lives in, and he doesn't get the newspaper, and he doesn't do Facebook. So I'm sitting there going, well, maybe we can find a pigeon to deliver a message to him. I'm being sarcastic. I had the opportunity to go home for a week in Madison County, and I took some gifts to attend the Board of Supervisors meeting from the County of Lee. And I just want to say that I've always kept an eye on when they meet. They meet once a month, and they meet for an hour and a half. And they have 19 board members on their Board of Supervisors. And one of them is my former math teacher from high school. And I was shocked to see that he's still around, but that's what it is. And when they did enjoy the pens, so we gave them some Lee County pens. But when the clerk would read off the votes at the conclusion of their any financial addition business had to have an individual vote, and they had to have a roll call vote, and they had 19 members. And then when the board's total vote tally was made up, I would hear the clerk say that it was unanimous 1,387 votes. And I didn't realize it, but each member of the Board of Supervisors carries a weighted number of votes based on if they represent a town, a village, a city, or a township. So I was kind of shocked every time I heard 1,387 unanimous votes, and it was like, okay, that being what it is. They do business a little different up there. The chairman, Mr. Becker, wanted to know how involved we were with the National Association of County Commissions. I said, well, we have a pretty active state association that keeps us in line. So he was more into the NACO thing. This past Thursday, we had the Cumberland, Harnett, Lee County National Association of National Organization for Mental Illness Crisis Intervention Team Awards Luncheon. And I'm proud to say that we had a number of Lee County represented in those awards, as well as the Highway Patrol and Broadway Police Department. So I just want to share that with you. And I have nothing further, so Mr. Vice Chair, if you would be so kind.
Yeah, move to go into closed session per General Statute 143-318.11A4 to discuss matters relating to the location and expansion of a business, and per General Statute 143-318.11A6 to consider qualification, competence, performance, conditioning, and appointment of a public officer or employee, respective public office or employee.
Motion been made to go into closed session. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We're going to go move over to the other classroom. Gentlemen, we'll be back. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion been made to adjourn. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're adjourned.